On this episode of SolarQuotes TV, the dark side of solar. The truth about solar systems in winter and how they perform in your city. Plus, can a Tesla Powerwall cook a human being? We find out in our battery-powered sauna battle. Plus, solar where the sun doesn't shine. Making solar work in Tasmania. All that and a little bit of shrinkage in this winter edition of SolarQuotes TV. Hello and welcome to SolarQuotes TV, where we ask a fundamental question: is solar worth it in winter? Well, the average three-person home in Hobart uses about 31 kilowatt hours per day of electricity in midwinter. To generate that much solar in June, on average, they'll need a 20 kilowatt system and a huge roof to put it on. Clearly, for many people in the colder parts of Australia, solar alone, even with a battery, is not enough to get them through winter. So how can solar lovers get through winter using as little grid electricity as possible? Well, first, of course, you don't skimp on the size. Fill your roof with those panels to maximize your winter generation. But that solar must be combined with efficiency. As a half Finnish, half Pommy immigrant, I can tell you, most Aussie homes are horribly inefficient and miserably cold over winter. They're drafty, with cheap, crap aluminium framed windows and insufficient insulation. My mum lives in this house in Finland, where it gets to minus 40 degrees Celsius or worse outside. She lives there very comfortably and she gets reasonable power bills without any solar on her roof. How? It's really simple. She gets 4 things right: gaps, glazing, insulation, and a heat pump. Gaps. My mum's house is well sealed. There are 2 doors on all the exits to make an air gap, and great sealing around all the windows and doors. It's simple, it's rubber seals. Windows. She's got triple glazing on every window with insulated wooden frames. Insulation. She simply uses shredded newspaper, blows that into the walls, and that makes a great insulator for those cold Finnish winters. And finally, she uses a heat pump to heat the home, which is 4 times more efficient than resistive heaters. The heat pump operates happily in winter because it's sunk underground. It's called a ground source heat pump. We're lucky. In Australia, the air never really gets that cold, and a good heat pump will happily work down to minus 10 degrees C. And that's really the secret to a happy, healthy, warm home that costs very little to run. You do this in Hobart and you can get your 31 kilowatt hours per day down to closer to 11 kilowatt hours, which on an average winter day in Hobart can actually be covered by around 6.6 kilowatts of solar. But money saving shouldn't be the main reason to have an efficient home. You should do it for the hygge. Hygge is a Scandinavian word. It simply means cozy. A cozy home is a wonderful place to be in winter, and studies have shown that people in warm homes are happier, and yes, they actually live longer. You can't put a price on hygge. So I hope you're watching this in a happy hygge home. Now, keeping the Scandinavian theme going, we're going to go to our most dangerous field test yet. It's Musk versus man. We see which cooks first, a Tesla Powerwall or a brave but very stupid volunteer. Thanks, Finn. So here we are in downtown Brighton on what is a horrible day for solar, but a beautiful day for a sauna. And the question we're going to answer today is, if we run a full-on Finnish sauna off nothing but a Tesla Powerwall and 6 kilowatts of solar, then what's going to die first? The Powerwall or the poor bloke inside the sauna, which is going to be me. Now, this is quite a test for this Powerwall, because my sauna pulls 6 to 7 kilowatts. It's, as I've said, a horrible day for solar, so my solar's pumping out about 700 watts at the moment, and the Powerwall can only pump out 5 kilowatts maximum continuously. We're going to be running the Powerwall at full whack for 2.5 hours. The solar's going to be putting everything it's got into the sauna, and we're going to be topping up, maybe a couple of 100 watts from the grid sometimes. So I've never done that before. I've never run this full whack for hours and hours. I'm not sure what a good idea it is. We'll find out. But I'm going to sit in the sauna. It's going to get up to probably 110, 120 degrees Celsius. Yes, Celsius. And we're going to see if I can outlast the Powerwall's drain. If I can sit in the sauna for longer than the Powerwall can last before it gets to 0%, I've won. If the Powerwall's got plenty of charge left and I have to give up because I'm dying, then the Powerwall's won. It's time for me to go and slip into something a bit more saunery. Monitoring is on. Well, I've been in here 30 minutes now, and it's up to, let's have a look at the temperature on the thermometer. A nice balmy 76 degrees. Very, very pleasant. So I bet that Powerwall's struggling. Take that, Powerwall. People ask me, so what could you possibly do in a sauna? Well, it's simple. You can do what we call Vasta in Finland. Flagellate yourself. I like to read a book. No sauna is complete without your sauna sausage. Chuck it on the stones, 20 minutes it's cooked. You've got to use Lolu. Putting water on the stones. And while you're waiting for it to cook, of course, you have sauna olut, sauna beer. Cheers. Whew, well, been in here about 40 minutes. I bet that Powerwall, it's probably got 5% left. What a piece of crap.
Finn, I'm actually concerned about this. 5 people died doing this in Finland.
Things I do for solar. Jesus Christ. It's actually pretty hot in here. We're about to hit the ton. 100 degrees C. I'm starting to get a bit delirious. Oh, Matt Canavan, he's quite a good bloke actually. Yeah. Talks a lot of sense. Yeah. Coal is the future, man. It's the future. How's that Powerwall doing? Fucking hell, I'm at about 20%. Ugh. I've hit the hour and I've hit the 100 degrees Celsius. To give you an idea of quite how hot it is in 100 degrees Celsius air, I've been collecting my sweat in this little bowl. Oh, I fucking hate solar. And Elon Musk. And batteries, even more than Ronald. Oh. Jeez. So there we have it. I'm on 0%. The battery's still got 48% left. Elon Musk, you win again. Okay, so don't try that at home. I won't be again, as it took another hour and a quarter for Elon to finally run out of steam. Now, speaking of saunas, there's a pretty sweet sweatbox set up down south of Adelaide in McLaren Vale. It's all part of an innovative solar-powered off-grid retreat that's proving to be a really popular winter getaway.
If you're looking for a sweet off-grid winter retreat, it doesn't get much better than this. Hidden away on the edge of one of South Australia's premium wine regions are these 2 new solar-powered holiday cabins.
The cabins themselves run off of a solar bank, and that runs into a lithium battery system. We've calculated on what we estimate the daily usage to be of the cabins, and that's how we sort of work out what system we need.
These premium tiny homes in McLaren Flat, the latest creation from South Australian company Cabin, which first started making off-grid accommodation in 2017 with the aim of getting people off their devices and back outdoors.
It's really important for us for people to reconnect with nature, one another, and disconnect from the day-to-day and their devices. So we don't have Wi-Fi, we don't have TVs.
These homes, known as William and Giles, are powered by a 5 kilowatt solar system using a Victron Quattro inverter that has been coupled with a Pylontech 10.2 kilowatt hour battery. As a backup, there is also a gas-fired generator, which is needed particularly in the winter months. The total cost, just over $30,000.
We build the systems to over-cater for use, and hopefully that's the case with these.
Creator Michael Lamprell has now built 9 cabins in 2 states, with other regions coming online shortly. These are the first premium Cabin X's. They're a little bigger than the originals, with extra mod cons, including a pretty amazing wood-fired sauna.
We're just super proud of what we're creating.
These off-grid luxury cabins will set you back $595 a night, with a minimum 2-night stay. Not that the price seems to be putting anyone off.
I think it's resonating with a lot of people.
Now, if you're talking winter in Australia, there's really only one place you should go to find the ultimate test for solar, and that's our southernmost capital, Hobart. We're joined now by Mark Richardson from Forefront Services. Mark, thanks for joining us, mate.
Thank you, sir.
Now, Hobart probably has the worst winters in Australia, so how do you design a solar system for maximum benefit in winter down there?
Well, it depends what you mean by worst winter. I think our winter is absolutely glorious. We have some nice crisp days. But you're right, that does make for lower solar gain. The best way that we found is to increase the overall size of the system, oversize the inverter, and then that gives you your maximum potential solar gain during the winter months.
So going big, essentially.
Yeah.
So what are the biggest winter loads down there in Hobart?
Biggest winter loads would be heating and hot water, for sure.
What's the best way to heat your home and heat your hot water if you've got a nice big solar system?
The most common ways for Tasmanians to heat their homes is electric. The most efficient way to do it is with a reverse cycle air conditioner, or what we call down here a heat pump. They come in obviously the split system type or also the ducted type. That's the most efficient way. As far as hot water goes, the most common type is the electric element type system. Obviously the least efficient type of electric you can get. What we do is we tend to tie the solar systems in with upgrading of heating systems, upgrading of hot water systems to the more efficient heat pump hot water systems as well.
So when you're doing a solar install in Hobart, it's normal, is it, to also upgrade the efficiency aspects of the home?
Look, we've got the capability to be able to do a range of things. So we can go into a home and do a bit of an energy audit, look at the lighting, look at the heating, look at the hot water scenario, and provide an overall solution to get the maximum benefit out of a solar system.
Now, in terms of panel brands, different types of panels, are there any types of panels that work better in the low light winter conditions, or is it much of a muchness?
No, look, the premium panels definitely work better earlier in the day. So you've got that lower light level earlier in the day. The premium panels are giving a more efficient output at that point in the day. That said, some of the more common panels, they perform quite well. And it's for us, when we talk to our clients, it's about getting the mix of performance and cost and return on investment correct.
So what do you say to people that say, I'm not putting solar on in Tasmania because the winters are too long and too cold and it's just not worth it?
The simple math says that it is worth it. The return on investment may be a bit longer than it is on the mainland, but because of our heavy consumption here in Tasmania, and that is due mainly to the fact that we don't have much reticulated gas, for example. So most of our heating, most of our cooking, most of our hot water is running through electricity. So it's pretty hard to deny that the return on investment is there, and it's not a bad one.
Well, that's really great to hear, Mark, because if you can make solar work in Hobart, you can make it work anywhere in Australia, I reckon.
Yeah, indeed.
Great. Thanks a lot, Mark. It's great to speak to you, mate. And enjoy your glorious winter Hobart days.
Will do. Thank you.
All right. All you solar nerds in the hopefully warm house, it's time for your favorite segment, 2 minutes of solar tech, where this time I'm going to be trying to make 2 minutes talking about heat pumps interesting. Ready with that timer, boys? Let's go. Heat pumps. In Australia, they're a really efficient way to make stuff hot or cold. They can be 3, 4 and a bit times more efficient at heating than a resistive element heater, which is pretty much any other kind of electrical heater. Now, in Australia, you use heat pumps to either heat your water or heat your home or cool your home. Let's talk about heating water first. Heat pumps have a really bad rap in Australia with a lot of plumbers, and if you ask a plumber to bang a heat pump on your house, a lot of them are going to say, no, they're rubbish, they're noisy, they're unreliable, they don't work when it's cold. All of this is rubbish, but they say it for a good reason, because there's been a lot of really crappy heat pumps in Australia over the last 10, 20 years. What you want to do when you buy a heat pump is pay a bit more. It's going to cost you about $4,000 for a really good heat pump. Good brands include Sandon and Reclaim. They have a refrigerant that's CO2, and they typically work down to minus 10 degrees C outside. You see, it doesn't have to be hotter than the air outside for the heat pump to work. The air outside just has to be hotter than the refrigerant, which can get really, really cold in the coil. So heat pumps for hot water, absolutely brilliant. Don't listen to what your plumber might tell you that they're rubbish. This is 2021 and they work really well. They're very quiet, as quiet as your air conditioner. They're really efficient and they're pretty damn reliable, the good ones. Now, heat pumps for your home. A really cool development in Australia over the last, I think 6 months is that we've got new energy efficiency labels for air conditioners. How exciting is that? I think it's awesome because did you know an air conditioner, reverse cycle air conditioner, which can cool and heat, can have a great energy rating when it's cooling and a shithouse energy label when it's heating. Now, how it can be vice versa. So depending on where you live in Australia, it's actually going to have a different energy rating, because in some parts of Australia you're going to heat more than you cool, and other parts of Australia you're going to cool more than you heat. And we're running out of time. Have a look at these energy labels. Depending on where you live in Australia, it tells you the best air conditioner for you. Well, I thought it was exciting. Heat pumps in 2 minutes. What's not to like? If you're as obsessed about solar tech as I am, you can read for hours on our blog at solarquotes.com.au and click on the blog link. And now it's time for our roving reviewer, the man that reads every review that comes into Solar Quotes. It's Ned. Ned? Ned? Where are you?
Hello everybody, remember me? It's Ned. I'm here for another review of the month. Now, last episode, eagle-eyed viewers might remember I was drinking a bit of wine at Lambert Estate. This time I'm in the Winter Village having a bit of a wine about a solar company. I got a negative review, unfortunately. It goes something like this. It's from Gilby in New South Wales, aptly titled Rubbish. They left rubbish on site, smashed tiles on the roof, they threw them off, and they smashed all through our gardens and down into our paddocks. Even smashed our outdoor stairs. They left drink bottles and rubbish on our roof. I had to pick up their lunch from our yard. Mother Energy cans, sandwich bags, all that kind of stuff. I asked for a $200 discount to hire a cleaner, as you would, and they refused to discount the bill. It was so disgusting how they left our property. They couldn't even take the cardboard boxes and electrical cords away. They left everything spread out in the paddock. So I'm sorry you guys had to hear that. A negative review. Hopefully next month it'll be a bit sunnier. We'll see what we can do. See you then.
Now it's time for Ask Finn, where you get to ask me your winter solar questions. So let's see what's come in this month. David, through email, asks, I want better solar panel performance in winter. I'm in Victoria. Should I increase tilt back towards 38 degrees to get better winter performance? Well, first of all, it's really unusual that you're able to change your solar panel tilt, but if you can, yeah, you might as well, because in winter, the sun's lower in the sky, and the steeper your panel angle, generally, the better they're going to perform. Now, let me just crunch the numbers. Hang on a minute. Woo. David, the optimal angle for you in Victoria for maximum winter energy generation is 54 degrees from horizontal. So go all the way up to 54 degrees, mate. Beautiful. Second question that's come in through email. Michael asks, I use 20 kilowatt hours per day in summer and 40 kilowatt hours per day in winter. What size would I need to get payback in 5 years? Well, first of all, you should probably sort your house thermal envelope out. I don't know what you're using that on, but I'm guessing it's heating. And so I'd really have a look at the thermal envelope of your home. But let's talk about solar. To answer that question, honestly, the best thing you can do is go to Solar Quotes and then click on the link for the solar calculator. Now, you live in a house. I'm assuming you're going to put the panels on your roof. So the first option you want to try is filling your roof with solar. So however many kilowatts that is, you put it into the calculator, you put your postcode in. It's that simple. You hit calculate, and then what you'll see is this. You'll see a beautiful graph of the summer generation all the way through to the winter generation, so you can see how much energy you're generating through the year for every month, and then it will also give you the payback. So I'll bet my bottom dollar that filling your roof with solar will give you the best returns, but do the maths for yourself using the solar calculator on the Solar Quotes website. It'll take 2 minutes. I'm biased, but I reckon it's the best solar calculator on the internet, and you can add batteries as well to see what that does. Final question is from Johnny T in Adelaide. He says, Finn, where do you get all these numbers from about solar panel angles and the optimum ones? Are you just a genius, or is there some kind of book? Well, obviously there's a book, Solar Electricity Handbook, 2011 edition. It has literally got tables in the back for almost any point in the world, and it gives you the optimum winter tilt, the optimum summer tilt for every month of the year. It's absolutely nuts. It's the Solar Nerd's Bible. I think they update it every year, but I haven't bought it since 2011 because I'm pretty confident the sun's relative position in the sky isn't going to change. That's your answer. Now it's time to give a warm welcome to a rugged up Ronald Brackles. Ronald, how are you?
Oh, I'm pretty good, thank you, except I'm upset.
What?
I'm upset at the internet. Did you know there are things on the internet that aren't true?
You're shitting me.
No, it's true. I have had people tell me straight to my internet face that solar doesn't work in winter.
So how do you respond, Ronald?
Well, that's complete rubbish. I mean, it's not as if I don't have plenty of evidence that solar works in winter.
Show us, Ronald, show us.
Oh, I came prepared. Look, this is a graph of a 10.5 kilowatt solar system in Adelaide. This is its daily production for the last 3 calendar months.
How's it gone?
Some days are better than others, but as you can see, it works every day. There's always solar energy being produced. If you look carefully, you'll see, yeah, there are some lousy days, but they are not very common. I have another graph.
More graphs.
Now, what do you think the worst month for solar is in Australia?
Midwinter, June.
Yeah, that's correct. June. The winter solstice is in June. Yeah, that's the 21st this year. The shortest day of the year, least sunshine. So you'd expect that to be the worst day for solar everywhere, but it's
Of course.
not.
What are you talking about?
Well, I'm talking about Darwin,
Oh, Northern Territory.
Northern Territory. Yep. There's no rain in the middle of winter. There's no clouds. It's the big dry. And as a result, in June, they produce more solar energy on an average day than in the rest of the year on average.
Well, everything in the Northern Territory is weird.
Well, yeah, that's true.
So talk us through this graph, Ronald.
Blue is your daily average solar output, average throughout the year. But the orange is your daily average for June.
So let me understand this. In Darwin, averaged over a year,
Yep.
a 6.6 kilowatt north-facing system will give you 28.4 kilowatt hours per day,
Yeah.
averaged over the year.
That's right.
But if you just average it every day over June,
Yep.
it'll give you 31.7.
Yeah, more. So you're better off producing more energy in winter.
More solar in the middle of winter in Darwin.
That's right.
Mental.
Oh, yeah, but I'm from Queensland and you'll see that Brisbane does pretty well.
Okay, 27.2 averaged over the year,
Yep.
and it averages 20.5 in June.
Perth, much the same as Brisbane, but, as you can see, not quite as much winter output compared to summer. Sydney, okay, as you get the further south you go, it gets worse. In Melbourne, it's looking pretty bad, but Hobart's the worst. You're getting less than half your energy in the middle of June as you are on average for the year.
So that's why Hobart's the toughest place to make solar work.
Yeah, exactly.
And also, don't forget that in Hobart, solar systems are quite expensive because of the tyranny of distance.
Yes, tyranny of distance, but they're also quite high quality, so that's...
The best
Yeah.
quality installs in Australia.
Yep.
I saw a recent report that said they had a 0 defect rate.
That's pretty awesome.
What's this third graph you got for us, Ronald?
Okay, so this graph tells us that if you're in Darwin or Brisbane, you're likely to be producing more solar energy, even in the worst month, well, the worst month for most places, than you'll be consuming. But other places, a 6.6 kilowatt system won't quite cut it. So you know what my solution to this is?
Tell me.
I'll install 10 kilowatts.
Go big.
Get 50% more.
No, I can see one more graph there, Ronald.
Oh, right. Okay, now, these assholes who say, oh, solar doesn't work in winter, there is a small corn kernel of truth hidden in that turd of a statement. And that is, every now and then you have a really bad day. These are the worst days for the whole of this year I could find for the capitals.
Based on real data.
Based on real data.
Real systems.
Yes.
You haven't
that's
just
right.
pulled this out of your beard.
No, I haven't. Darwin, 13 kilowatt hours. Still pretty good compared to your average consumption.
The worst solar day in Darwin this year for a 6.6 kilowatt system was 13 kilowatt hours a day.
Yeah, it's not so bad. But as you can see, in some places it was pretty awful. 1.8 kilowatt hours in Sydney, Melbourne, and also Hobart. That's lousy, but some people claim you can have weeks of bad weather, but no, weeks of bad weather is very rare. We go back to this graph, you see that, you can have a few bad days, but no weeks there.
So what would you say to someone that said, I'm not going to buy solar because it doesn't work in winter?
You're wrong. That's not a good reason. If you don't want to get solar, fine, but do it for a stupid reason,
Well, thanks for coming into my house today, Ronald.
Oh, my pleasure.
Sorry it's been a bit chilly in here.
Oh, that's normal in here. You don't have a good heat pump, do you?
We got a heat pump.
Yeah.
It's just not very well insulated.
Nah, big windows, you know.
Unlike another house in Adelaide
Ooh.
that I'm going to cover in the finale. So for this month's finale, I want to take you to the Adelaide Hills, where earlier this year, a 10-star home opened. Now what's impressive about a 10-star home? Well, lots of things. But the main thing is, to get 10 stars on the NABERS home energy rating, you need to have built a home that requires 0 artificial heating or cooling. And this home does just that. Now that's really impressive. The Adelaide Hills can get very hot in summer and pretty chilly in winter, for Australia anyway. As you can see, this is an absolutely beautiful home. It is pretty small, just over 100 square meters. So the benefits of this house, obviously it uses bugger all energy. It's got 5 kilowatts of solar on the roof. It's got a pretty small, well, tiny 4 kilowatt hour battery. And even with that, it needs to import, let's round it down to bugger all electricity from the grid. The downsides of this home is it was really expensive to build. The estimated cost of builds are $4,500 per square meter. Now that's an expensive build. To give you some context, a bespoke architect designed high quality home in Adelaide should cost about $2,500 to build per square meter. And that's an expensive house. A project home, you're looking at closer to $1,000 a square meter. But I've got some really good news. Our federal government have actually got an amazing environmental and energy saving initiative. Yes, this federal government have actually come up with a really good initiative this year. And what they've done is they've provided architect designed sustainable home designs for anyone to use and just take to their project builder. It's called Design for Place, and there's 3 levels of homes. There's 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, and 4-bedroom homes. Now these are nice homes. They've done all the hard, expensive architect design work for you. All you have to do is find a good builder, and you do have to find a good builder because the ship builders will say they're too complicated to build. They're not. They've been designed with simple construction methods, great roofs for solar. You find a good builder, you take this design to them, you drop it on your plot, you orient it correctly, and you've got a beautiful 7.5 star home that will be really pleasant to live in. Now, estimated costs for building these are about $1,500 a square meter. And that is excellent value when you're gonna have tiny energy bills if you've got a nice solar system on the roof.
Hey Finn,
Ronald.
once they build one of these fancy energy efficient homes, how are they going to find a good installer to put solar on the roof? That's the most important part.
Well, Ronald, you just go to Google and you type cheap solar and you go for the cheapest system.
Don't be an idiot.
Don't do that. Go to solarquotes.com.au and find a high quality solar installer. Buy once, buy it right, buy high quality solar. You can find great solar installers on our website, solarquotes.com.au. Just pop your postcode into the box, hit the red button, we'll take care of the rest. Thanks for watching. That was episode 6 of SolarQuotes TV, the dark side of solar. And as we found out, it's not as dark as some people make out. Tune in on the first Tuesday of next month, where you'll see Ronald riding a horse bareback. Probably.